Thanks for joining us for an evening at the Roost. Now that Christmas is in the past and the New Year is upon us, we're doing a special Marcato Network special, which is as fun as it is redundant. This is Stephen Kelly, and for a rare instance, I'm joined with my brother Brian Kelly.
Yo, yeah, it's kind of weird to be not in the same room. I almost said in the same room, but we are definitely not that. But on the same episode, because that's
kind of awkward now. We don't see each other very much. So.
We were liking it just fine.
Hey, pipe down back there.
I'm sorry.
So we've got a whole room full of folks this time because we
again metaphorical.
Again metaphorical. Don't worry, restrictions are in place. Because of it's kind of kicking off the new year, we wanted to look back at all the projects that we've all worked on from the Marcato Network. So we got the whole dang network to be on the show with us. So I'm going to start by welcoming the Marcato brothers themselves, Karl and Will. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Howdy.
Thanks for having us.
Howdy.
Happy to be back, guys. This is so much fun.
Almost New Year as we're recording right now.
But by the time it gets edited, happy Arbor Day, happy Valentine's Day,
New Year,
as late as it needs to go.
Throwing a little Easter and Kwanzaa just to be safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy 2022, everyone.
Man, that year was even
course,
worse
we're
than
also-
2020. Gosh, can't wait for
No spoilers,
turn around.
And also we have 2/3 of the Heroes 3 podcast making them Heroes 2. We've got Matthew and Carlos. Hey guys,
Hey.
welcome to the show as well.
What's up? Hello.
I like just saying Heroes 3, but one's on assignment.
Yeah, Heroes 2 is an actual kung fu
It is an
movie.
actual kung fu movie, yeah. So
Really?
Heroes 3 minus 1. We can go with that.
Yeah, Marty wasn't invited. I think we...
that's not true.
We all sat around and decided that we don't like Marty.
Well,
He's
we
just
got
not
this.
a nice person.
I got
so
the
it's
invite
like-
in the mail, and it was just weird how explicit it was. It was like, all are welcome except Marty. I thought that was an interesting thing to put on there.
You caught us red-handed. No, Marty just had a scheduling error and couldn't be here and was very sad to miss it. So we might do a little special Marty episode later on, depending on what happens. But we've got everyone else here, so let's party. Did everyone get enough pigeon milk? Do I need to top off your decaf?
Oh, I'm trying to cut back on pigeon milk.
Do pigeons make eggnog? Is that what you're referring to?
What's Animal Crossing? It's the
It's
Roost.
an Animal Crossing thing. Will?
God, Will.
You a fake Animal Crossing fan, Will? That's fine.
He's only a fan of the music, to be fair to Will.
Wait, video games have music?
It's called video music.
It's sort of like T-Square, but they put it in a box.
Wow. Damn. All right.
That's a joke for this room and this room only.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, because this is an episode for this room and this room only, because we're pretty much just going to talk about ourselves for like an hour or something.
Yeah, buckle up.
Yep.
So, Karl, you're to the farthest left on my Discord screen, so I'm going to throw it over you to start with. How has your 2020 been in terms of creative projects and Marcato Network business?
It's been really good in terms of that. It's been not good in terms of everything else.
I have noticed
Oh, really?
that.
Well, what happened? What happened? What's going on?
So I'm very grateful for creative projects, because if it wasn't for that, I would be losing my mind. Not just now, probably months and months ago. So yes, it's been a really good year for creative projects. One of my highlights was probably, as I'm looking at the person to my right on our little Discord row here, collaboration with Carlos, the album Downforce, which we put out this summer. That was so fun. I worked on making the music for that for
I'm
probably
sorry
about
to break
4
in
months.
here, Karl. I just real quick, I gotta say, just a show of voices. Who here has not collaborated with Carlos?
Oh. I I'm infecting everyone. No one is safe.
Okay, Karl, continue. By all means, please continue.
Yeah, that was like the perfect thing to have. Collaborating with Carlos and then working on the music for months and reaching out to some of my friends to record some little guest spots and put it all together. To see the response was really special. Other than Downforce, having the podcast every week and working on a couple of game projects with Will has been really fun. I have a solo game project that I'm working on, this game called Spell Blaster, which has been really fun.
Oh, right.
And so I'm doing that. And so I look forward to being able to share more about that in 2021 probably.
Mm-hmm. That's not a vocabulary version of Math Blaster, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, one of the other creative highlights for me this year was being involved in the Ultimate Hum, which is kind of this big collaborative project which stemmed from Battle of the Bits. It was a series of 10 4-hour battles every Saturday for a long time this past fall, and eventually all the best music was kind of put together and then polished into one massive album. And so it's like a 45-track album of SNES and NES chiptunes, and so that was a real joy to be involved in that, and to again have that creative outlet for a lot of the year.
I know you've been incredibly busy. Brian and I were just talking about this the other day of like how many VGM projects you were balancing at the same time.
I really needed it this year, though.
Yeah, I know. I kind of had the same experience. We had our own like quarantine projects, especially like in April and the early days of COVID.
Right. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. And I've had tons of those little one-off things too, little videos that I've made, covers that I've done, whether it's for YouTube or even for my parents. I did a little Christmas present for them of a bunch of covers, and I did some VGM covers for my YouTube channel. And earlier in the year, I actually wrote a song kind of about how I was feeling, and so I put that up, which was kind of just about the emotions that I was going through in the early stage of quarantine. So yeah, having that creative outlet, I would be completely lost this year without it.
Do you think this is the most music you've ever done in a year?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, gotcha.
I think Will can remember there was a time when we were insane with our productivity. Will, it was back when I was living in that apartment, which is the original Marcato HQ. A long time ago, there was this one year when we were just like churning stuff out like all the time, like collaborative stuff, but also
we were
stuff.
Doing a lot more collaboration in person, which I feel like no matter how great you can be doing things remotely, there's nothing that can replace that energy of being in the same room with someone,
right?
Especially with music.
Yeah, but it's up there. I'd say it's up there this year.
Yeah. It's Brian and I experienced the same thing, of course, being locked in the same house for so long this year. We've kind of always roomed together, actually, but there was something about that concentrated energy where we started to collaborate with music before we more did it as a separate activity. And it was like, I don't know, it was just, I think both of us got way more excited about completing our songs and iterating on them because there's someone right next to us saying, oh, what if it was more like this? Or why not here, bring out your guitar and show me what you're thinking right now in real time. And
it's not too different from what happens with live music, the energy transfer from not only band members, but to and from the audience as well. That energy transfer is a real breathing thing. And as cool as the technology is with, virtual shows and streams and stuff like that, it's cool, but it's just not the same, is it?
Yeah.
One thing I can mention about working on Downforce, for me, it was almost kind of like a pen pal situation where it's like you send something away and you're excited to see what comes back. So working like a collaboration remotely like this, there was a lot of fun for me like almost getting a present every for a while when Karl was getting really productive. It was like every other day there would be a present waiting for me, which was really cool.
That's how I felt when we were doing audio dramas. We would write these scripts and then we'd wait for all these wave files to be sent back to us. And it was like when you wake up in the morning, the most beautiful sight is that inbox stinging with an unread message with an attachment. It's like, yes. Yeah. Oh, what's it going to sound like?
Yeah. Really
well,
fun.
I was mentioning this on our podcast, but I just want to say this too, because Carlos, you reminded me of this. The best feeling in the world is getting stems back from one of your favorite musicians that you admire so much. For me, it's my friend Aaron, who played the saxophone on Downforce. Getting those from him in my email, I was so giddy. I couldn't wait to import them into Reaper and to hear his takes because they were all amazing. And so, yeah, for me, that was one of the joyous moments this year.
So, Will, I assume a lot of your creativity has been shifted towards school projects in the later part of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's been a big year for me personally. I got engaged over the summer.
And congrats.
Yeah.
Very
and then
cool.
I moved to Chicago and I started a graduate program. So in the recent months, that's been kind of a lot of my focus has been on that, but it's actually been that's been my musical output since the grad program is about media music in specific. So it's been this great vehicle for me I've learned so many new skills. I'm learning new software, new tools, new ways to compose, and kind of getting these amazingly difficult but inspiring weekly challenges, essentially, that expand my abilities to compose and arrange and orchestrate and deal with different genres and different styles of music. And it's been very challenging, but very rewarding at the same time. And then what I think of, because to me, the years are separated by like the school years. So I think of like, September to June as like a year. But the early part of 2020 and a lot of it, I was actually working with you guys, Stephen and Brian, on a musical. Picture a game of cops and robbers, an infamous name to boot. A victory shot with hot marauders after a hot pursuit. Picture a band of handy outlaws, a perfectly polished crew. The kind you'll find thrilled to kill without pause, 'cause that's what you gotta do when you're an all-American gangster. Fair is fair, see it's the American dream, to be an all-American gangster, causing peril and living dangerously. It's kind of on pause right now just because I think of other projects, but we actually completed a majority of the creative work. And I'm really excited to return to that at some point, because we more or less have a finished script and we have, a finished book of songs. I imagine once we revisit it and once we, get back into thinking about like production with it, we'll have edits and changes.
A finished pandemic and you'll be set.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that was probably the most rewarding creative project for me, working on that with you guys. I mean, that's one of my favorite things that I've ever worked on. I love collaborating.
I'm so proud of how that turned out.
I love collaborating with the Kellys. I mean, I just think that they're both, I mean, I feel like I want to speak to your audience, not just you guys in this room, but like Stephen and Brian are such great collaborators because they're so open-minded, they're really thoughtful, and they put in the time in the work to have thoughtful and sensitive discussions. Everyone is always free to voice their opinion and has strong and passionate opinions, yet I feel like it never gets disrespectful.
Well, now you're making me want to collaborate with them. Jeez.
But, I mean, everyone should. You guys are fantastic. So that was just such a delight.
See, this is why we have Will on the show. This is
why we have Will on the show.
No, that's so kind, Will. And I mean, it was an absolute blast working with you as well. And I mean,
everything you just said, Will, like reflects directly back on you. Like that is
no,
exactly
I really think
felt.
It's just working with you because I don't think Karl would say those same things about me.
That's not
we'll
true.
We'll pull the room when we're
brother.
done here. We'll
there.
Yeah. We never had the sort of older brother and little brother dynamic because even we're confused as to who's the older one.
Well, that's good because I sure am. Oh man! No, I know it now.
Yeah.
But
in the early days
of
the lockdown and quarantine, it was actually I believe I had. I'm just trying to keep the time. I think we had finished most of the work on Totem Town.
Yeah.
That was kind of unfortunately. It was right around the time when I was trying to get things figured out logistically for casting and getting a rehearsal space and everything. So it was just kind of like unfortunate timing where all of that had to be put on hold. So I think I was a little kind of depressed at the beginning of quarantine and wasn't making much music because we had been working towards this thing. And my goal was really to sort of finish it up, wrap a neat bow on it, and then move on to, grad school. And so kind of having to put it on pause always has the risk of like, what if we never come back to it? But, I actually think it'll be a great blessing if we can come back to it with a little time. Because I'm sure with fresh eyes and a fresh take, we'll probably realize, this scene works really great, but maybe it doesn't, maybe we cut this scene, maybe we cut this song, or maybe this is the right moment for a song, but we actually need a different song. And it kind of having that
we were
fresh
getting pretty rushed
take
there by the end.
Yeah. So that'll be sort of a blessing in disguise. I did do some VGM covers. Like I did some 8-bit covers of 16-bit music just kind of for fun to kill time when we thought the quarantine would be like 2 weeks long. So I did like a Super Metroid.
Those quaint days.
Sonic 2. I did a Super Mario World
I remember that
thing just for fun. And then Emma and I wrote and released a song through Ember Willow called Unexpected Love.
Never thought I'd find myself in love with you. Nowadays it seems that's all I ever do. I don't need a guide to fly me to the moon. I go crazy for a lazy afternoon.
That's another one of my favorite things
great.
I think that I did this year. But yeah, it's mostly been grad school for the last few months. So happy to be on break because it was it was an insane amount of work. But I don't know. I hope that you guys can maybe at the wedding or I don't know when. I would love if you guys could meet some of the friends that I've made at grad school because I think some of them in particular, like you guys would just totally get along because I think they'd really fit in with this group.
That's really cool. And I love on this last original showcase y'all did. It was great hearing the influence that your grad school work has had. Those songs from your program were so different from what you guys would normally play on the show. And I really, really appreciated all of them. I thought like that, I'm forgetting the name of it, but that piano piece, the theme of someone.
Oh, thanks.
I thought that was like the most beautiful thing you guys played. That was tied with the Karl, your sad song, the song with the really sad name.
You have lost everything.
Yes, that one. I was taking a walk while I listened to that, and it was just so beautiful. Both of those songs
broke down
really
and cried from
me.
it.
Yeah, I know. And someone found me on the side of the road and had to drag me back home. It was the whole thing.
But while staying 6 feet away from you, it was very difficult.
But both of those pieces were great.
Yeah, I know that the occasional opportunity for Will to get to do some VGM work this fall has been a breath of fresh air for him because it's been such a contrast to the typical styles that he's working in.
Back to your roots.
Well, and yes and no. It's like the two main classes that I compose for. I have a scoring class and a class called this semester was electronic orchestration. And the scoring class is where we're focused. It's more the long game. We're scoring one film and trying to get into the sound of that film and cue by cue, it's more about hitting the right beats, nailing the right tone, getting into the more granular details, where my orchestration class is more week to week. And what's fun about that is you put on different hats. 1 week you're writing a piece of EDM music, and 1 week you're doing almost like musique concrète, where you're taking recorded sounds and manipulating them. And then maybe you get an assignment. Like one of my assignments was actually we all had to take different film themes and create a piece of pop music out of them, like arrange it in a pop style. So I got the theme from Forrest Gump. So I actually wrote lyrics to it, and Emma and I recorded it as like a song. But that's the example of the kind of weird fun bouncing between right and left.
It's kind of video
things in the different classes.
And it's eclecticism, I suppose.
And I actually have gotten to I've done some of my assignments for that class on FamiTracker, just because when we're talking about electronic stuff, some of the assignments in the early weeks were vague enough where I actually got away with doing everything in a chiptune style. So it's really fun getting to do that for school.
Very cool.
Well, it's just neat that you're bringing your experience into this environment where all of these disparate musicians from across the country, I guess, are
world.
Yeah, do you have classmates?
Yeah, people from all over, from Russia and the UK, Romania, Norway, South Korea, China.
It's really cool that you have all these people from across the world gathering in one place, bringing their own backstories to work together on the same assignments.
It is really cool. And honestly, just making friendships has been so rewarding. And I've been thinking about all of you guys a lot. Because since most of my classes have been over Zoom, some of my classmates I've gotten to meet in person, though all of our classes are over Zoom. So I've really, truly made a lot of friendships in a purely online remote space, which is how I feel like all of us became friends because, I think we all got to know each other remotely before we ever met in person.
That's the thing I've been thinking this whole situation is that the main way that I kept in contact with even friends that I do know in real life was through online. But it's kind of interesting because we're all on kind of the same footing, whether you live 20 minutes away from me or, halfway across the world.
Right.
Then we're keeping in contact the same way, which is kind of neat in some ways.
Some people have had a head start with this year, people that were already used to this kind of online interaction. I think there were some people that had a rude awakening.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or if you're already working from home, a lot of things that some people were had changed less about their lifestyle than others.
Right.
Yeah, we were really lucky in all of those regards. Our lives barely changed at all from a personal workflow standpoint.
Well, except that, business basically stopped. That was a problem.
Okay, that was a problem, yeah. For those who do not know, our day jobs, me and Brian, we run a pet sitting business together. And when everyone's staying home, they don't pay you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out
an issue.
They watch their own pets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't wise up and just work from home from now on, but only time will tell.
I just imagine you guys cold calling people are you sure the dog doesn't need to go outside?
Are you leaving to go to the grocery store anytime soon? Because we can pop right in and out. It'll be fine.
Look, we can try to walk your parakeet on a leash. There's no law against it.
Yeah, totally. So, Carlos, I'm going to move this along. I'm
whoa,
also the host.
Who's the host here?
Oh, man.
No one knows the difference. So, Carlos,
hello.
What have you been up to this year?
Well, I guess regarding the whole world and my life, I've been working the whole time. My wife and I both, our schedules were basically unaffected by things. I guess my wife works in the medical industry. And I'm in maintenance, so we're both considered essential.
Those things got to get done.
Yeah. So in that regard, our lives haven't really changed, but I mean, everything else has been affected by that. But creatively, I feel like I've been actually very productive this year, which is a kind of a personal goal that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. So, I mean, we've talked about Downforce, and I've done a handful of other commissions. So actually, this is kind of the first year where commissions have been coming my way, which is really exciting for me.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun having to kind of meet those needs for people and kind of expand, I guess, my reach in regards to art, because there's been stuff that I didn't really think that I would be doing that I end up drawing. And it's all been digital, and that was another thing that I really wanted to focus on, converting into just a strictly digital sense. I mean, not that I don't like just drawing on pencil and paper, but I feel like it's easier for me to, I guess, market myself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's been really rewarding, and I've had a lot of time with everybody that I've worked with so far. So I feel like I'm pretty fortunate when it comes to my art and what I've been able to do with it this year.
I mean, that's why I was joking before. Like, all of us here have partnered up with you specifically to do art for our projects.
Yeah.
And I'm also just seeing you pop up everywhere around this community. If someone has a podcast, like, oh, there's some Carlos art. Oh, whoa, look, he did a Bug Snacks picture for Matthew. It's like, it's just, and very Will-like in this way. I can definitely see your craft improving. Like, even just over the past couple of years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Keeping an eye on your art. It's just getting better.
You used to be
better.
terrible, and now it's actually not that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, what are you saying? Are you saying that I sucked before? That's how my brain works. I don't know if you feel that way,
Backhanded
Carlos.
compliments.
Regarding that Bug Snacks artwork I did, I was really excited about that too. Matthew's done a couple of Famine Tracker covers. One of Mazinger Z, which is like a 70s Japanese cartoon series that I really love. So I got really excited to do that artwork.
I joke that I chose that song so that I could get Carlos to do art for it.
Nice. Yeah, it worked. I had considered doing pixel art for that Mazinger piece, but I was hesitant because pixel art's something I really enjoy. Obviously, we love video games, and as I was working in that medium, I started to realize the real amount of work that comes with doing like truly good pixel art, like from my, like, I guess my eyes. And I became I almost had like an anxiety towards it because it's like, oh man, it's a lot of work. And I don't know if I can really put in the time to make it look as good as I picture it in my head. So when Matthew came to me with this Bug Snacks proposal, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do pixel art this time. And honestly, it was such a pleasurable experience. It was really rewarding, and I was really able to squeeze out everything that I wanted from that pixel art. So I was really thankful for that.
I do agree with what Steven said, that like, or maybe it was Brian, I don't remember now.
We can't tell the difference.
No one does.
But just that, and it's not like that your work just continues to get better, in the sense that I'm always blown away, and that must be a sign that like it must be improving, because it's like, I know how talented you are, yet I'll see something new and I'm like, Jesus, that looks so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially in the badass factor.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just find myself saying that when I look at Carlos himself, let alone his art.
Even just hearing you talk, Carlos, I miss you so much. You have such
especially
a
the size of your biceps. Oh wait, no, that's just your Discord avatar. Never mind.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
But yeah, I don't know. I've really had a good time with my art this year. So I'm thankful for that this year. I'm thankful for having a job. I'm thankful for how fortunate my wife and I have been this year. So, I mean, I really feel for everybody that's struggling right now, but I really do have to be thankful for what I've got so far.
Yeah, and what's great is because you have all that stuff to be thankful for, you're able to put the time and energy into this stuff and share it with everybody.
Yeah, and I've also experienced my ups and downs. So creatively, I felt like I've kind of said like peaks and valleys, where I'll have these bursts of creative excitement, but then I can go a while where it's like, damn, I can't really get anything done, and when I try, it's kind of a struggle. But
I think we all have that. Like, all creators go through those times when you feel like every day you just can't wait, and then there's other days where I just don't really know if I can do anything today.
I've never really had to deal with anxiety or depression, but I think in my own creative ways, that's what I was dealing with, this year in the middle of all of this pandemic stuff.
A big thing that I've learned this year is that I already knew I wasn't great at being self-motivated, but this really solidified, I have to, I can't do and finish things unless I have some kind, even if it's not like a person breathing down your neck, just knowing, this person's expecting me to, finish this or whatever is enough.
Accountability.
Expectations.
Yeah, accountability. Right. It's enough to.
It can
to
be
push
simple. Me. I think it's
totally
good to set it on yourself. For example, for the Spell Blaster, every single time I'm asked to do a piece, I specifically make a deadline. Even if they're not even asking for it, I'm like, how about the deadline is this? And then I know I'm going to actually meet it and get it done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's so easy to be like, I'll just do it next week, or I'll just do it later.
I totally agree. It's one reason it's very helpful to have a brother who is creative, because it's someone that you can consistently bug to either be a part of your project or at least look at your project and you don't feel bad about it because it's your brother and he can't disown you. And so that's always really
a nice
helpful to have at least one person who's going to look at it or hold you to the deadline or whatever. And I found that very, very helpful.
But the brother can diss and own you depending on the circumstance.
Okay. That's what I came for.
Yeah.
So Matthew, tell us a little more about your year.
Well, this has been a really fun year for Heroes 3. We covered a ton of super fun movies and a lot of stuff that I had. It's nice. It's actually, we covered more than 3 movies that I had actually seen before, which I think might be the first time that's happened. Since starting the podcast, and a lot of stuff I have been wanting to. We even had some special guests. We had someone from 30-20-10, which is a way bigger podcast than Heroes 3 is, guest on it.
Wow.
We had Karl and Will, the full Brueggemann crew were on when we did
all the Drunken Masters.
We did Drunken Master 2 earlier. And it's just been a ton of fun. It's one of those things that's remained consistent. And even though all of us have been pretty, stressed out with a lot of things, and we've had to delay episodes and stuff, but just knowing that that's always something to look forward to has been really incredibly helpful.
It's comforting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I mean, especially talking about having some sort of external source to keep you on track. Having a regular podcast with friends. I mean, I've had that going on in my life since I hit my 20s and haven't stopped. It's like how I can keep time at this point.
Yeah.
And another podcast actually that I've been working on that is not on the Marcato Brothers Print Network, but it's an audio drama that's it's like a comedy thing based in the Star Trek universe. Called DuPont's Theater on Subspace. You can check it out, ttos.cool. But
such a good URL.
I know. I'm really happy about it.
Matthew was telling me a little bit about that, and they're apparently doing a huge push to sort of remake the early bits of that show, since talking about things getting better as they went along. Apparently that show did.
Because the whole thing started off as just a big dumb inside joke basically for a different podcast that we all enjoyed, and then ended up growing into its own thing.
As the best project.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But if you go back to the first few episodes, they're completely incomprehensible if you weren't already a fan of the other thing. So that's going to be in 2021. But that's been really fun too, and I've learned a lot about editing and how to how to do audio drama stuff like y'all have done in the past, understanding what makes it sound like people are in the right space, and comedic timing and things like that.
Yep.
So that's super fun.
Panning.
That's really cool.
Panning, lots of panning. The world exists in a 2-dimensional plane. So.
Exactly. It's hard right or hard left for every character.
It is funny when you listen to some early stereo records, like old Broadway cast albums that were done in like the early 60s when they just got stereo, and it's like 100% hard panned. Yep. It's like disorienting.
Or like early Beatles CDs.
Yeah.
Where like the vocals are all on the right channel and the drums, bass,
or like
guitar
the
on the
snare
left.
drum is only on the right or something.
I
What are you
remember
guys doing?
once in high school, whenever I was, that's how I knew that one of my speakers blew out in my car. It was because I was listening to the Beatles, and I was like,
It was an instrumental
why are they
mix.
singing right now?
That's pretty
Like,
cool.
I know they're
That's
supposed,
awesome.
like I can hear like their echo a little bit, but
Well, there's sometimes that's really advantageous. I remember in college, I was working on this really difficult jazz drumming like transcription of a recording with my kind of drum professor, studio professor. And what was nice is this particular jazz recording was around that era, and so all the other instruments for the most part were on more pan to the right, and the drums were pan to the left, and so he was actually able to
pick 'em out.
on his stereo kind of just hear the drums. So that was useful.
I would do that with guitar solos, especially if there are multiple guitars playing. It is very helpful if they like put one on the left, and the rhythm on the left and the solo on the right, because otherwise guitars will get super muddied together. And so I
for
know.
sure.
It can be helpful. Yeah.
you know what doesn't pan at all is the Family Trackers, the NES. No panning on that.
If you want to be authentic,
But that's true. But then at the end of the year, and I'm hoping to do more in 2021, is I released a couple of videos for the first time in over a year.
That's right.
With that Mazinger Z and the Bug Snacks. Very happy how that turned out. It's a super fun track and translated shockingly well to the VRC6 NES sound.
Right. Yeah.
Made your third back in a major way.
Yeah.
Yep. I loved all the comments of people being like, "You still exist."
He's like, "Oh, I thought you were dead."
Wasn't that
I
great?
forgot I was subscribed to you.
Yeah. I love that too.
It's also fun when people pivot their channel where like they were doing one thing for a while, maybe they were inactive, and then they have a new project and they just rename the channel, and all those people that used to be subscribed now have to like decide if they like this new thing.
Yep. Exactly.
One of the things that I guess like that for Heroes 3 was I was so excited that we're doing this show together, but then at the same time I was like, damn, Matthew's not going to do any major third stuff. Like, I'm totally stealing him away from the content that I liked.
You're poaching your own talent.
Yeah, it's pretty great. He came to me.
Whoa,
that was a little defensive,
shot
Carlos.
Sorry.
So, Brian, let's break our house rule for 1 second.
Which one?
Where I think we can talk about ourselves if I ask you the question. How have your projects been in 2020?
Oh man, it has been a weirdly full year in terms of creative stuff.
It really has.
So I'm just gonna try to let's see, how can we best boil it down? I mean, okay, first obvious one, we started Evening at the Roost this year.
That's right.
So, I mean, this show exists because of this year. Yeah. This is proof of it. So that started because of MagFest, which we went to early in the year. And it was like our first MagFest in a long time where we weren't doing any show for it. There was no Overclock podcast. There was no Train Station 8. We weren't doing anything. And we're like, we don't have a reason to interview people. This feels really weird. I don't like that. We wanted to stay plugged into the whole VGM community, and we could feel ourselves being less active when we didn't.
You're starting to lose your identity, a la Back to the Future photos.
Exactly. We were starting to become slightly transparent. Yeah, and it was very concerning. And
we're already quite transparent, like just from our Irish lineage.
The sunburns were not good that year. And like we talked about, having those deadlines, having some amount of accountability keeps you involved in something. So we're like, okay, we should at least have, it doesn't need to be like every week or something, but we should have a show going on. And so we kind of, on the way back from MagFest, we came up with the Evening at the Roost idea. And with the pandemic hitting and everything, it took us a while to actually get it off the ground. But in the summer, we finally did that. And it's been really, really good. It's been exactly what we set out for it, which is just a chill way to keep up with friends, interview some new composers, talk to you all, and just stay active in the space. And so,
sort of an excuse to invite ourselves to the Marcato network.
Yes, absolutely.
More than welcome.
Yeah.
It was destiny.
That's been great. I guess I'll hand it back to you, Stephen. What is a project you'd like to pick out from this year as something?
Well, let's see here. In between now and then, we both been working on music.
Right.
We officially launched Threescapes, our audio drama, audiobook sort of fiction series, which is now on the internet.
Yep.
And for Brian's birthday, as always, I went out of my mind trying to surprise him with a big creative project. And we were really, really into video game design at that point. That was back in October. For some reason, we had just been playing more. I guess what happened was we played a ton of games during the lockdown. And so we just found ourselves talking about them every day. So what I thought would be neat to do would be like, okay, what if I went and tracked down some of our favorite game developers and just interviewed them and compiled it into like a podcast episode and just showed it to Brian as like a gift. And it started off as a fairly simple idea and did not end as a simple idea.
As most Kelly related projects do.
It's the Kelly way.
The Kelly snowball effect.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I must have sent like 40 different emails to people. I've never had so much rejection in the space of 2 weeks in my life. But I ended up, I guess, Brian still didn't know about the project at this point. I ended up getting some yeses from people I never expected to say yes. I mean, like, the creators of Myst said yes, and I got to talk to them.
Yeah.
One-on-one, which is just a dream come true. Like,
I mean, one of the creators of Banjo-Kazooie and worked on Donkey Kong Country. Yeah.
Yes. Chris Sutherland from Rare, now working at Playtonic, said yes. Just these people that I just respect so much and was so excited to talk to. And so when I compiled it all together, I'm like, oh, wait, there are too many voices here to like distinguish from an audio perspective.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to put subtitles or something so people know what's going on, or at least so Brian knows what's going on, because this is still just for his birthday. And so I'm like, well, guess I need to make a video. Don't know how to make a video, so I'll teach myself video making software. And I'm like, I need artwork so people know who's talking. I'll go out and commission someone to make like 8 different pieces of artwork for all these people. And it turned out to be like a 45-minute long video. So when I finally showed it to Brian, he was like, okay, 1, that was good. 2, we have to do something with this because you just created a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So like 2 weeks of conversation later, we planned our first couple of episodes for what we're calling Field of View, which is a game design YouTube channel, which just does that, interviewing game designers and hearing their perspective on like why they make games.
It's very so amazing, you guys. I mean, I know I got to talk to Brian a little bit about this, Stephen, earlier this year, but it's one of the more impressive things you guys have ever done, which is saying something.
Thanks.
Yeah, really amazing.
Yeah, and we're so this last couple months we kind of got all the channel stuff up, and I started interviewing. I've already interviewed a few developers, and am working on putting together our second like big video. And the fun way to close the loop on all of this is, unfortunately at the time, our artist got too busy and couldn't keep making more art for us, which is understandable because he probably did not realize. Go ahead.
Well, it was also kind of crushing though, because he was like, okay, I'm pretty much good for the future. So we're like, okay, cool. Well, we can continue doing this. And through no fault of his own, a bigger and perhaps better project for his skill set came along, and is like, I can't keep doing it. And so we're like, well, now we're just stuck because I don't know anyone else who could do this art style.
Yeah, he had a pretty good art style to it. It was so we're like, all right, we're gonna have to go search for an artist. So we started sending out a bunch of messages, and I'm like, hey, Carlos, do you want to try doing a piece of art in this style for our channel? And Carlos, like within like a minute, got back to me and was like, yes, I want to do this. And I'm like, oh wow, cool. I'm very excited about this. And Carlos sent his first like test piece of art in, and we're like, all right, call off the search. This is it. Yeah. He did it. Like, we're just going to go with Carlos.
I literally had an email halfway written, and I deleted it after seeing the artwork.
Yeah. Carlos just did a fantastic job at emulating the style, but also bringing his own style to it. And we were so excited with it that so that next video will be the next one to come out, and it will be all with Carlos's art, and we're really excited to keep working with Carlos on this going forward. So
I actually have something that just came up. So sorry.
Well, guys, I did spend a lot of time trying to draw Sonic the Hedgehog when I was 13.
Stephen, I hope you drafted that email so that you can get that.
Yeah. It was pretty vague emails like, hey, I like what you do. Want to make art?
Copy paste.
I'll pay you for it.
Your art's good. I have money. Give me art.
It's a template that he uses,
but not too much.
Not a lot of money, but
I have a small amount of money.
I have the correct amount of money.
I am the heir of a Nigerian prince. Would you please do art?
This is a wonderful opportunity for you.
If anyone is curious to check out the channel, it's called Field of View: The Art of Game Design. Put that into YouTube, and I hope it'll come up.
I mean, we'll just have to throw like a million links in the show notes to everything we've talked about throughout this whole program. Right. So,
I'm really excited for people to see it. It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I searched Field of View game design, and it came up. So,
thank God,
success.
No, granted, it might be because I'm subscribed to the channel, but
I'm gonna say it's not. Yeah,
it's a Christmas miracle.
I think I'm gonna throw it over to Carlos for the finale.
Okay. All right. So a thing that I like to do on Heroes 3 sometimes.
Oh no.
Is, and Matthew knows already what's going to happen. I'm really excited.
Oh no. I have no idea.
I like to surprise people with a little quiz.
Oh man.
Well, that's fun.
Ding 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 ding. Welcome to the Marcato Network Quiz.
Don't have a cow, man.
The Marcato Network Quiz.
Play along at home, everyone.
So these quizzes are more an excuse for me to just vent with some really bad jokes. So bear with me. I have 3 questions, and you can make it a competition if you want. If not,
I win.
Just have fun with it. So
I have a feeling Carlos is going to win this.
I am exempt, so here we go.
It's like saying Bob Barker is gonna win. Like,
which he kind of does.
That's true.
All right.
Okay,
ready, guys?
Yes.
All right. Released on November 10th, 2002, this game featured music by composer Hideaki Kobayashi, who also contributed to other soundtracks such as Phantasy Star Online, Onimusha Blade Warriors, and Knight's Journey of Dreams.
Ace Combat. Something in Ace Combat.
Wait, are we guessing the game?
No.
You're guessing the game.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Yes, damn it. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Nope.
No, really?
Isn't that 2001? That's not 2002.
November 10th, 2002.
I feel like that's when the GameCube came out. That's why I was thinking.
You're saying Sonic Adventure 2
year
Battle.
after.
You're right. The Dreamcast version came out earlier, though, Matthew. Curse us.
Matthew's in the right direction.
Can you say the composer name again?
Hideaki Kobayashi.
Hideaki Kobayashi.
Is it GameCube?
It is. It's GameCube. Yes.
Okay.
Is it Billy
it's
Hatcher?
Oh, is it Soul
no,
Calibur?
but you're even closer.
Is it Soul Calibur
closer?
2?
No, it's something Sega. It's something Sega.
Sega.
Right.
I think Kobayashi
Sega on the
composer.
GameCube that isn't Sonic.
That's
Adventure 2.
That's Sonic
Or Billy
Heroes or whatever.
No, that's
later.
2003.
Even closer.
I think.
Oh, so wait, we're even. So it's not
Sonic
what
Mega
came-
Collection.
Sonic Mega Collection.
Wow,
Why?
way
I
to
should
hit
have guessed
the
that.
inside
That was
joke.
like made for me.
know.
Oh my god. Will, I thought that was your guess for
letting us
everything.
down.
It's
We got that for
I
Christmas that year.
I was very close.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
very close.
So with that
Wow.
first question, you kind of understand the spirit of what's going on right
Yeah,
now, right?
I
think
see.
It's all
I
inside
see.
joke
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay. Number 2. Super Nintendo World will be opening in Japan this coming February. You can grab some lunch at Kinopio Cafe. Pick the real menu item.
Oh, boy.
Now I'm gonna say 4 different choices. Okay.
Oh,
So feel free to react to them, but wait until I'm done to make
Yeah.
your decision.
Okay.
So, Donut Plains Plain Donut.
I love
Okay,
thinking of you coming up with these. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
it makes me so happy.
amazing.
All right. Koji Corn Dog.
Oh my god.
That better not be the real one.
Kinoko no Pizza Bowl.
That one went over my head.
And Charging Chuck Steak.
Okay, can I guess? It's the pizza one because
Steak.
I think I
think
watched
it's
that
steak.
video.
I think it's Charging Chuck Steak.
I feel like I
think
watched
it's
the video with Miyamoto and I remember them saying pizza
I'm
bowl.
gonna go Charging Chuck Steak. That's the least original of these. I don't know.
Will got it. Kinoko no Pizza Bowl.
Did you guys watch
Oh
the
my
video
God.
with Miyamoto?
The
Like I
only
felt like a
Japanese one.
little kid. I was so freaking excited. That place looks
It was delightful.
magical.
So we need to take a group trip there at some
Yeah.
point.
I would agree.
Oh man.
I'm so
That'd
happy
be
that
insane.
Donut Plains Donut is a real.
Donut Plains Plain Donut. That's my favorite.
That's
I want that.
amazing.
I
Donut
really
Plains
want to-
Plain donut.
Mad props for that. Someone
Yeah,
needs to
yeah.
make
Oh, we
that.
got to make
That's
that
my
an
favorite.
actual meme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the amusement park has to be staffed entirely by toads, right? Like
Oh, it is. The whole restaurant is run
Okay.
by toads. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
there's like all these video screens with them running around.
Oh,
Dude,
my
it looks
gosh.
so fun. I just like
it looks really
I'm
exciting.
so jealous of Japanese children, but at the same time I'm like really happy for them. Like I'm really happy that little kids are going to get to
Yeah.
experience this.
Yeah. Nintendo has finally truly become the Disney of video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made it.
Number 3. Okay, so this is the last one.
Okay.
All right. Hold on.
Can't
All
even
right.
get through.
Okay, hold on.
You can do
all
this.
All right.
That's how you know it's good.
Yep. This exercise trend became all the rage
Uh-oh.
with work from home mothers and their infants during quarantine. I'll name 3 poses and you tell me what practice this is.
What?
So, if you'd
Okay.
like me to repeat it, I can repeat it.
No, I think I got it.
Okay, so here are the 3 poses, and I want you to tell me what this exercise is.
Okay.
All right, first one. Youngling Lotus.
Is it
Second
Jedi
one.
Yoga?
Binary Sunset Salutation. And third, Downward Droid.
I mean, it's Yoda Yoga, right?
Star Wars yoga? Yoda yoga? Yoga?
You're getting there.
Baby
You're getting
yoga?
there.
Oh, we're
It's,
not there yet?
Baby yoga!
Baby Yoga.
Baby yoga. Yeah.
So I got it by sheer word association because I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
You
just keep
made
yelling.
those little connections.
Again, the loudest is the most correct person. We have been learning that.
I really feel like Marty needed to be there for that one. I might
I
know that.
I might have to repeat that one. if
Just
we
text
talk.
him
Yeah.
all the
Hey, you
multiple
could still
choice
give
ones.
Marty the quiz.
Yeah, I think I might. All right, thank you for indulging me once again.
Oh, apparently Matthew's mic cut out, and he did indeed say "Baby Yoga."
Oh.
So
That's what
a
they all
likely
say, though.
story.
To be fair, that's what
Yeah,
they
he
all
said
say.
it after I said it. No, I'm just kidding, Matthew.
Great.
Wow, that was
well.
great.
It was a good
Thank
time
you,
for it to
Carlos.
cut out if it was gonna cut out.
Yeah.
After the last quiz question,
He has that filter on that mutes correct answers.
It was my pleasure.
I think they had that during the presidential debates.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
have mercy.
Yep.
Well, guys, how about we close this out? We've been recording for long enough.
Good
And
deal.
have had some good fun. How about, what if we close it out by, since this is our sort of, looking to the future 2021 January debut episode, what's everyone like most excited about with their project for this coming year?
Nothing.
Thanks for joining us, folks.
Yeah, totally.
Karl, I'm going to have you start. What has you hyped the most?
I'm really excited for what will be, I think, my next album. I have some ideas about it. I'm still in the idea phase. Actually, Joe has been really helpful and kind of helping me with some ideas, bouncing some ideas off of her. So yeah, my next album that will probably come out sometime in 2021. I'm really excited about. Don't want to give away too much about it. Excited for the game projects that I'm working on. Hopefully, at least one of them will be finished in 2021. Yeah, I think those are the big ones.
I can't wait. I hope you actually work with Joe on whatever you're going to do, because she was integral to Downforce.
Yes, absolutely. I will.
For sure.
How about you, Will?
I'm really excited just to get married.
The best creative project.
Honestly, I don't know. That's probably the thing I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah.
But just
sure.
finishing up school, and I'm not going to finish up school in 2021, but getting back to that and hopefully having time to do creative projects. And I would love to return to Totem Town, maybe this summer or at some point, just because that was really fun. And I'd even love to just do another musical with you guys or some other project, because I had such a great time.
We should do something in 2021.
Or even we talked about doing like a musical episode for Threescapes, which I think would be like hilariously amazing and fun.
Oh, I would. That would be my whole dream of the year.
That would be great.
We'll see. We got to talk about it. Carlos, what you got?
I want to draw some more stuff.
Draw some more stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good New Year's resolution.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the momentum that I've started this year, I just want to kind of continue on that and kind of spread out beyond kind of like the circles that I'm in right now. So I feel like I want to share a lot of my artwork. Just get it out there. Just loose stuff, rough stuff. Just share stuff and just really enjoy doing this stuff and kind of keep that momentum going. So I guess there's nothing really specific, but obviously collaboration is really fun to me. So I welcome that in all its forms.
Well, as you keep drawing different game developers for Field of View, maybe we should just set a little goal of, by the end of 2021, you got to sketch Miyamoto.
All right. I think the next two sketches I'm going to do are of you guys, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, that's right. I can't wait to see that.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Brian?
Yeah. I mean, speaking of game developer sketches, I mean, we really got that the Field of View idea swinging in like November, so still riding the momentum on that. And I think what I'm excited about is just seeing where that goes over the next year. Like, how many different people will we have talked to by the end of the year? That to me is always really exciting.
It kind of feels like we set it up at the end of 2020. We released our first big video, and now for the new year, it's like, okay, let's see what we can do with this thing in 2020.
Like, I'm imagining like an end of year picture we can release for Field of View that just has like all the illustrations of the people we interviewed that year. And like that to me would be really cool.
I feel like being friends with you guys is so intimidating because you're such Renaissance men. Like, you do everything. You make, write these great audio dramas, you're excellent interviewers, and you're involved in so many different subcultures and have like expert level knowledge on so many topics, and you also like run your own business in real life. It's very intimidating because I feel like all I do is music.
That's funny because we were just talking about it the other day, and our insecurity comes in that we're like, man, to be a master of something like Will is at music would be so great, but instead we're always trying different things.
The problem though is there is no master at music, because it's like music is its own, I mean, I feel like I'm almost too ADHD when it comes to music, that it's like if I just committed to one thing, I could be a lot better.
You see someone who's like perfect at guitar. Yeah.
There's always, you can get down to a more granular level, but I think you guys truly are exceptional in how many different irons you have in the fire in completely disparate topics and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. It's I mean, maybe we are Renaissance men, but I feel like we are serial Renaissance men, or we are addicted to starting new projects and rarely.
I can't wait to listen to your new architecture podcast. That's going to be great.
Oh, I mean, don't joke, man. You get me down an architecture Wikipedia rabbit hole, and okay.
Building with the bros. And I guess I would have to say, like, for me, it's the same thing as Brian. Like, our big focus is going to be field of view, and
until we get distracted.
Until
you start your new philosophy podcast.
Now, really don't joke about
that. We almost have done that multiple times.
I'm not joking. I know you guys. I've spent a lot of time with you. I know the way your minds work. I love it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I just...
Buddhism with the bros.
I think that someday you guys are going to find a way to have all of these different things connected in a really vital way that'll lift it all up, and it'll be like you'll own your own production company, or it'll be some kind of big multimedia conglomerate something.
Entertainment 720.
Exactly.
Big business with the bros.
Okay, you're Steven, I'm noticing your naming conventions are getting a little unoriginal here. All right.
So Matthew, what's your 2021 looking like?
Well, we're gonna keep doing Heroes 3. I'm
really excited to get back into some Heroes 3. Yeah.
Me too, definitely. There's a lot of big ones that we haven't quite covered yet. So
the big ones.
I'm covering. Yeah. Speaking of that, I'm hoping to do some more Major Third stuff, which I actually do have a bit of it in the pipeline. It's not just me hoping for that.
Cool.
What I'm really hoping to do is to get more into some like game development stuff, because I've been learning a bit of coding and stuff like that and messing around with Unity. So I'm really hoping to get more into that realm of things.
Super fun. Yeah. Brian and I have plans that we
were very close to doing that this year, and then we went the video direction. But I learned a little bit of like JavaScript and some coding stuff this year, and it seems really, really fun. So I'm so excited that you're working on that.
Yes. Make a blog so we can subscribe to it with our RSS feed or whatever.
You know what's really interesting is that all of us are kind of into making a game at some point, right?
I see where you're going with this. We have the artist, we have the musicians. Okay.
But if only we knew someone who could do pixel.
All right, I have a new thing that I'm looking forward to most in 2021.
No, seriously, I have said for a long time that our MagFest group will turn into an indie game studio at some point, because we have all of the different talents.
You're so right.
If anything, it's like we have too much. Art. It's like
y'all were more positive. I was going to say 2021 is the year that the Marcato network falls apart because we tried to make a video game.
Oh no.
Behind the music.
Yeah. I like your play. I like your idea more though, Will.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen, but yeah, I mean, I think who knows what could happen. Yeah, I guess. Okay,
I feel like
I'll just give up on my dreams now, Matthew. Thanks.
Oh no! I feel like if we made a game, it would end up with like, well, we have like 15 soundtracks, but only like one level design.
No, exactly. It's going to be all about the music.
It's like, Steven, what are you doing? You barely know how to make music. Write the video game.
Yeah, all we need is the person to make the game, and then we're good.
Man.
All right, folks. But on that note, I think we are going to wrap up this very special episode. Wait, you guys hear that?
I hear knocking.
Well, look at that. It's Marty.
Hey, guys, am I too late?
Hey,
No,
Marty.
you're just in
Marty.
time. Impeccable timing. Welcome, Marty. I was just about to clear away all the drinks and platters and weird food we were talking about from the Super Mario theme park.
Oh, man. No, glad I snuck in just in time.
Yes, I agree. Well, in that case, before we shut this show down, Marty, how was your 2020? What did you get up to creatively? Tell us your musical adventures.
Oh, boy. Yeah, not surprisingly, my 2020 was really hard.
Yeah.
And, really strove to kind of keep all the creative candles burning. But it kind of, if the year started like sort of surrounded by burning creative candles, it kind of ended with just like one or two, and the wax is almost down at the bottom of the floor.
Yeah. I think that everyone's sort of psychological waxes are at their end.
Yeah, totally. It's funny. I guess I found that the self-driven creative projects were really hard for me to get off the ground. Luckily, I had some kind of commissioned work, and that maybe because other people were expecting it or there were deadlines, I was able to kind of move those things forward.
We talked about that a little bit before you walked in.
Yes, we did.
Man. And I mean, it's funny. I feel like I've been hearing that from more and more, musicians and other creative folks. And I think it's important for us to all share that with each other, because we're going to be, I think, naturally intimidated by the kind of social media stars that are just really, really productive magically somehow, strangely during COVID. But I think it's helpful for folks to know that it's not strange at all if you're experiencing the other dynamic, the other side of stuff.
Very true. It's just when you feel so cut off from everyone and everything, it makes a lot of sense that your creativity would get cut off as well, especially if your routines change. Like we mentioned before, like Brian and I are lucky that a lot of our routines stayed the same. But for probably the majority of people, everyone had to rethink the way they were living their daily lives. And creativity, at least for me, is usually sort of comes alive when I feel like I'm in a rhythm.
Right.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. Also, it just became more and more difficult to picture an audience, at least for me, to picture the world that I would push this out into. And I was kind of surprised at just how destabilizing that was, at least for me, creatively. And I mean, also just some behind the scenes stuff, the studio that I co-operate, we've basically been essentially closed all of since March.
Oh, man.
That's rough.
So yeah, that's been really difficult. I mean, just logistically and economically difficult.
Yeah.
And then also creatively, because starting off the year, we were kind of just getting into our stride. And that's all of that is really, really difficult.
Late last year, I remember Will and Emma went out there to record with y'all. I remember that. And you guys were doing all sorts of fun projects. So I have to imagine going into this year, you probably had all sorts of plans that got thrown off.
Totally. And that kind of work, if circumstances were different, I imagine that could have been a great comfort,
Yeah.
But that's exactly the kind of work that's just too risky with what we're all trying to protect ourselves from here.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So yeah, it's tough. And I will say, however it is that we get a little bit of like New Year's optimism, even though logically there's no way next week can be that different from this week, but somehow there's a little bit of that magic pixie dust from the concept of New Year's, I feel like. And I'm hoping that if we all collectively get at least some tiny little sense of that, maybe our kind of group optimism can actually make something happen here in this.
Yeah, I think so. And even just us now, all of us talking together, I think is a little bit of that magic that we've been 100%. Missing for a while.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I'm sure this came up, but I feel like, Karl's been so smart and, I think kind of courageous pursuing the artistic projects that he has during quarantine. And I think from what I understand, I think a big part of that that made that possible was this kind of connection with community online. And really trying to keep that active.
Yeah, it's fortunate if you had some of that in 2019 or before, then I think your 2020 was a little more manageable. Like the more you had that already.
Totally.
Yeah,
exactly.
Great point.
Exactly. Yeah, because Karl, you really, you started doing a lot more on like Dwelling of Duels and just different like
Battle
contests online. A lot of the chiptune scenes, Battle of the Bits. And you were just like,
I recommend for any composer out there who is interested in video game music or really music of any kind. It's such a fun community, and it definitely made my 2020 more bearable.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find these communities, that are encouraging too, that's, I mean, that's such a godsend in this time. But I mean, I think along the lines of what you guys have been saying, just know that it's perfectly normal if you've found your creative juices really draining during this period. And of course, it's also great if you had the opposite experience. That's awesome. And don't feel bad about that either.
It was just a very different year creatively. It might have inspired some people, but I think it also, like you said, like, especially for someone like you, where the physical studio space was like a huge part of your creativity. I feel for all the people who had like concert tours planned and, musical theater. Like Will was going to, we talked about this earlier, but was going to record, the Totem Town thing we'd worked on, like at a local theater, and just all of that completely shut down at once. So, but on the other hand, like Karl found all these things to make with online communities. So it was this weird year of like you kind of appreciate your in-person communities and online communities more, but you're not able to participate in the in-person one. So it just makes me realize, like, going back to the optimism thing, like there are going to be so many joyous reunions over this next year's things.
I think that's so true. I mean, I'd love to believe that, 2 years from now, it will, it'll be a kind of like net wash or maybe even a net gain. I wouldn't be surprised at all if, as things begin to get more stabilized, we're, the way that we're marked by COVID will lead to kind of a flourishing of creativity.
I've been thinking a lot about that, even just in terms of like the universal perspective that we've all been forced through this year, to kind of see each other and the way that we interact with each other in a different light. Like it's always a blast talking to you guys, even online, but kind of looking through the lens of 2020, I'm just even more grateful to just hear each of your voices. It's just like,
absolutely. It's comforting.
What a pleasure it is. And it's going to be so much fun the next time we get to hang out in real life.
So
absolutely.
Joyous.
And the other thing that's exciting is it's starting to feel like all of the kind of reopening, reemergence is going to kind of coalesce around springtime. So if that is at all true, I mean, just think of how incredible that's going to feel. When, like seasonally and emotionally and,
kind of poetic.
Medically, we'll all be ready to kind of get back to it.
It's going to be quite an Easter.
Incredible.
You know what I'm actually thinking about now, looking back at the year, is so like in the 90s and stuff, there, people were talking about the monoculture where everybody was basically experiencing the same things culturally. And actually 2020 was a kind of modern monkey paws way to experience.
It took something like this to finally get us all on the same page a little bit.
Everybody got on Animal Crossing and everybody was watching the same shows. Like, it's kind of interesting to think about that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought.
That's a really good reminder. And it'll be awesome, I think, having that touchstone when things do get back to, another another way of life, because we'll be able to think when we log into Netflix, it's like, oh yeah, remember that time when, for at least 3 days, everyone was watching Tiger King or everyone was watching Queen's Gambit or something.
Yeah. As a TV commercial would say, these have been unprecedented times.
Let's look forward to next year.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, we asked everyone else this question. Marty, is there anything that you're looking forward to? Any project that you hope flourishes in 2021?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. For me, it's kind of like the reopening of doors, creative doors that I really care about. So, getting really back into podcasting and Heroes 3 and _ and really getting our studio doors reopened and getting back into that work too.
Fantastic.
That will be a grand day. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, folks. Well, we got our little Marty corner in at the very last moment.
Oh man, I'm so grateful.
So the episode is complete. The entire network has been represented,
yes.
And we are going to call it quits for the night and wish all of you a happy new year as 2021 dawns.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.